Sometimes we come across these quadratic equations that we can't solve by factoring. So we do something called completing the square. Now, when you're completing the square, there's a very specific order of steps to go through. And the first one is to get the c part of your ax squared plus bx plus c, get that c constant over to the other side. So we subtract c. So we're just left with ax squared plus bx equals negative c, right? Okay, so our c in this case is positive 1, so we subtract 1 from both sides. Now we do that because we want all the x terms on this side for a specific reason. This constant is what's messing us up. It's preventing us from factoring this neatly, because nothing multiplies to get 1 that adds to get 4. So what we do is we just move it over there. The next thing we do is something that you're going to have to remember. We take that b and we multiply it by 1/2. And then we square it. 1/2 b squared. And you square the whole thing. So what's our b in this case? 4? So b equals 4. Then 1/2 b is 2. And then 1/2 b squared is 4 again. What do we do with that? We add it to both sides. How can we do that? Well, if you add something to both sides of an equation, that means you haven't changed it at all. Just like when we subtracted 1 from each side, right? We haven't changed what it's equal to. Well, what did that do? Well, what's nice about this method, negative 1 plus 4 is positive 3, is now we have something over here that we can factor, and we just kind of don't have the 0 over here, but that's fine. What? How can we factor this? Well, what's something that multiplies to get 4 and adds to get 4? 2, right? And this is always going to work out this way. You're going to get the same binomial. That's why it's called completing the square, because this binomial multiplied by itself is that binomial squared. And that's what we want. We want this whole thing factored to be squared. Why? So that we can use the square root rule and square root both sides to find our answer. Don't forget that positive negative. So we have x plus 2 equals positive negative square root 3. And we just finish it off. Subtract 2 from both sides. X equals negative 2 plus or minus square root 3. And the other way to write that is negative 2 plus square root 3, and x equals negative 2 minus square root 3. Those are both of our answers. You can plug those back in to the original problem and see if that works. Negative 2 plus square root 3 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus square root 3 plus 1 equals 0. Just do this real quick, even though I'm making a mess here. This will be a FOIL problem, right? So I'm going to have to write this out now because I can't keep that all straight in my head. What are you, nuts? Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4 minus 2 square root 3 minus 2 square root 3 plus 3, right? Okay. So that's just the first part of that. 4 plus 3 is 7 minus 4 square root 3. Let's distribute this as well. Minus 8 plus 4 square root 3 plus 1 equals 0. Negative 4 square root 3 plus 4 square root 3, that's 0. 7 plus 1 is 8. Minus 8 is 0. And if it was negative, same thing. And still get 0. So that's a weird check mark. Check. So we checked our answer. That is indeed correct. Now, a little tip to help you do this a little faster when you're going through these steps. 1/2 b squared is what you need to add to the other side, right? But 1/2 b is what is this part of the binomial that you're going to be squaring when you factor it. So 1/2 b squared is important, and 1/2 b is important. And because if you're having trouble figuring out, oh, what multiplies to get this and adds to get that, it's 1/2 b every time. All right, let's do another one for practice. X squared minus 3x minus 5. What do we need first? Move the c over, right? Yeah, move that 5 over there. X squared minus 3x. Leave yourself a little room equals, leave yourself some more room, 5. Because we know we're going to add stuff in here. Well, we don't need to leave room here. Do that. Anyway, so 1/2 b. Well, b is negative 3, right? So 1/2 of b is going to be negative 1.5. Just 3/2 squared. 3/2 squared, so 1/2 b squared is what? 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 2 is 4, 9/4. That's important. And you can also check your work to make sure you factored that right. X minus 3/2 times x minus 3/2. X squared minus 3/2 x minus 3/2 x plus 9/4. Yeah. X squared minus 6/2, which is 3x plus 9/4. Yep. That's exactly what we had before. All right. Just checking. Make sure we factored that out right. All right. So what's 9/4 plus 5? Well, we need common denominators, right? So 5 times 4 over 4. 5 times 4 is 20 over 4. So 9 plus 20 is 29 over 4. All right. Square root rule. Square root both sides. X minus 3/2 equals positive negative square root of 29. Rationalize the denominator. Square root of 4, it's just 2. That was nice. Add 3 halves to both sides. We're left with 3 halves plus or minus square root 29 over 2. Or, a little better of a way to write it, since both are over 2, you just write the whole thing over 2. One more for practice. X squared minus 6x minus 13. Now, I think you'll notice in all of my examples, a equals 1. But you can still do this. When a doesn't equal 1, you just, when you get to the second step being after this, you would just divide everything by whatever a is. Okay? Just a note. Should do an example. It would be everything divided by a. All right? But kind of do that in the next video. But for now, let's practice completing the square. What do we need? We need 1/2 b. What's 1/2 of b? Well, b is 6, right? So it's just 3. What's 3 squared? 9. 13 plus 9, 22? Yeah, 22. Okay, cool. That was pretty easy. Square root both sides, right? X equals, well, I want to skip steps, but I mean, if the answer is clear to you already, then you're learning. Can we simplify that at all? No, it's just 11 times 2. Those are the only factors of 22. So add 3 to both sides. We get 3 plus or minus square root of 22. Want to check our answer? Yeah, let's check our answer. 3 plus square root of 22 squared minus 6 times 3 plus the square root of 22 minus 13 equals 0. 9 plus 3 square root of 22 plus 3 square root of 22 plus 22 minus 18 minus 6 square root of 22 minus 13 equals 0. Yep, I have to write really small. This adds to get plus 6 square root of 22, and this is minus 6 square root of 22, so all that cancels out. Okay. 9 plus 22 is 31 minus 18 minus 13. What's negative 18 minus 13? Negative 31. And I bet if the positive one works, then the negative one works too. Thanks for watching.